Tajay of the Mighty Souls of Mischief crew. I'm chillin' with my man Festo, my man A Plus, and my man Oak. You know he's dope. And right now, you know, we're just maxing in the studio. We're hailing from East Oakland, California, and sometimes it gets a little hectic out there. But right now, you know, we gon' up you on how we just chill.
Dial 7 digits, call up Bridget, her man's a midget. Plus she got friends, yo, I can dig it. Here's a 40 swiggin', you know it's frigid. I got him chillin' in the cooler, break out the ruler. Dang, that's the fattest dog I ever seen. The weather's keen and Cali getting weeded makes it feel like Maui. Now we feel the good vibrations. So many females, so much inspiration. I get inspired by the blunts too. I'll front you if you hang with the bunk crew. I roam the strip for bones to pick. When I find one, I'm gonna take her home and quickly do this. I need not explain this. A plus is famous, so get the anus.
Hey, miss, who's there? I'm through there, no time to do hair. The fix it ain't, so get straight. You look great, let's drop now. Or rub down some flavor later, there's the theater. We in the cut, the cinema was mediocre. Take it to the grip so I can stroke it. Kids get broke for their skins when I'm in. Close range, I throw game at your dip like handball, cause the man's all that, all that. I'm Dita Chill from 93 till.
Yeah, this is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till. This is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
My black Tims do me well. When I see a fool and he says he heard me tell another person's busyness, I cause dizziness until you stop acting like a silly bitch.
Yo,
Crews are jealous cause we get props. The cops wanna stop all fun, but the top is where we're dwelling, swelling fat, no sleep. I work fit and jerks get their hoes sweep under their noses. This bro's quick to hit once and flip once. I'm chilling cause my crew's close, kid.
I posted, most kids accept this at school. I exit, cause I'm an exception to the rule. I'm stepping to the cool spots where crews block this narrative. Or see where the shit that's plan B not as pop. So I got in the window and go to the basement. My ace spin, fattening up tracks. Time to get prolific with the wisdom.
Greenbacks and stacks, don't even ask. Who got the fat stacks? We can max, pumping fat tracks. Exchange the facts about impact. Cause in fact, my freestyle talent overpowers brothers can't hack. Yet they lack wit. We got the max shit. 93 to infinity, kill all that wax.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
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 This is how we chill from 93 until.
This is how we chill from 93
I
till.
do. School's in session, but I'm fresh. Rapping, so I take time off to never rhyme. So I'm off on my own shit with my own clique. Roaming back roads with a fat slogan blunt. Folding ones. Holding stats captive with my persona. Plus a bomber. Testing. Niggas is testing my patience. But I stay freshin'.
Resting at the mall, attendance on Nord. But I am shopping for my winter exploits. A few fits, some new kicks. I often do this cause it's the pits not being dipped.
Flip the flyer, attire female's desire. Baby, you can step to this if you admire the extraordinary dapper rapper. Keep tabs on your main squeeze before I tap.
I'm Macca, attacker with the smoothness. I do this, even what my crew gets. Loot, props, respect, and blunts to pass. Crews talk shit, but in my face they kiss my ass. They bite clothes, but we make up new ones. If you really dope, why ain't you signed yet? But I get my loot from Dive Zomba. I'm a bomb, yeah. You will see from now to infinity.
This is how we chill from 93 till.
it chillin'.
Del the funky Homo sapien is chillin'.
Hey, my man Domino, yo, he chillin'.
Yeah, and it's like that to the end.
Infinity.
92 is over.
Right,
93,
right.
that's when we rule. You know what I'm saying? Peace.
Welcome, Bitcoin friends. It's Bitcoin Mamo. Bitcoin is pumping at the moment, so I was going to make a video, but the action's happening quite quickly, so I haven't done a live stream for a while. So I'll do a live stream and do some technical analysis, look at the charts. I am currently in this trade. It looks like quite a good trade at the moment, but I did buy it on the way down here, and I did hold it in a loss for a while here last night. But I was confident that we were going to get a bounce here. I thought we would make a higher low here compared to this one. I was expecting more of a bounce around the 55,000 level. I was looking at the, let's make this full screen. I was looking at the golden pocket area, taking it from this low. So I was expecting a bounce around this area at this golden pocket here, but we ended up coming a bit lower. And it was pretty much the 0.5 level, taking it from all the way back here. And as you can see, we've got a decent bounce here. And if we just pull up the 4-hour chart, that was on the 6-hour, we can see that there's a golden cross waiting to happen. And did talk about this in the previous video. You can see this yellow line is the 50 exponential moving average. The red line is the 200 exponential moving average. We can see we almost crossed. And I mentioned quite often when these are about to cross, it can act like a magnet and we can drop into the cross. And that's what happened. We did have quite a big drop there. And then we did play around with the line. We didn't get the cross. And now we're going up. We can see we are pumping. We're about to open a new 4-hour candle actually. And the cross is, let's just see if we can see it on here. Actually, yeah, the cross hasn't quite happened yet on this chart. Let's just have a look on the Coinbase chart. Let's just pull this one up. Got lots of charts here. Here it is. On the Coinbase chart here, you can see the same lines. They are about to cross. They're basically touching each other at the moment. So I think as long as we hold this cross, which looks like we will, because we are about to open in 20 seconds, another 4-hour candle, then this golden cross should happen and it should carry us higher, I believe. So I do have a bigger triangle pattern drawn here also, and just watching this resistance level here, which is at about 58,200 approximately. You can see we have opened that new 4-hour candle. Let's just get an accurate reading. Yeah, around 58.2. And then just to confirm, once we get above this level, I do think we're going a lot higher. You can see it wants to go higher already. I think once we got past this level here, I'll just pull up back to the other chart. Yeah, I had this red box drawn here, and if we just go on the daily, bit messy these charts, we'll clear it up a little bit, get rid of some of these fibs. And so I just was basically drawing full screen, drawing a box here where we went sideways here. I thought this would be an important level to get above and hold this level. And I thought once we did, then Bitcoin's really going to start taking off. I thought maybe we might get some resistance before we broke it. But it seems like Bitcoin's ready to go. If we do this fib retracement all the way from the top to the bottom here, we can see that the golden pocket area is in this area here. So I would like to see us make a new high, temporary high compared to this previous one at least. So we are at 57.7 and that previous high is at 59.140. So let's just chuck some music on. Tell me if that's too loud. Turn it down a little bit. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart. This chart is very messy. I'll still go on the other chart. So we can see on the 4-hour chart here, the RSI is still got room to go higher, and the stochastic RSI is starting to go up and still does have room to go higher. So I'm not expecting any pullbacks at the moment. And if we go to the 6-hour, we can see that the stochastic's also coming up at the moment. It's only at a 40 level, so there's plenty of room for this to come up. The 12-hour, let's make this a bit bigger. You can see the 12-hour completely cooled off pretty much on this pullback here, so it's got plenty of room to go up. So I do think this move's going to go up for quite a while here. The daily was the only one worrying me slightly because it was quite high, but on the RSI we're only at a 53 level. Let's go. Just want to point something out here. Is this the one? Yeah, so I was looking at this falling wedge pattern here. I did post this on Twitter, and I said once we break this trend line, can be a good sign that we are going to carry higher, as long as we could come back and retest it and then get a bounce. And then this is the same wedge type pattern, just on a different time frame. You can see we did play around with it for a bit and then we did go higher. And then I was watching this red box here at 56,000, and then we did take off above it at 56.9, and obviously now we're at 57.8. And you can see that wedge pattern here. So once we did break it, I thought, yeah, we are going to take off. And I just want to point something else out here. Is it this one? If we look at this pattern, this was from April 26 here. So this was the previous drop, all the way from 64,000 down to 48. And this was a similar wedge, and then when we did break it, this is what triggered us to go up all the way to 59. So it was pretty much the same pattern. The right one. Yeah, April 26. So we can see how similar it is. We came up here, down to the bottom trend line, up again, down to the bottom one. And then we came down again, but we didn't come to the trend line, and then we broke the line. And if we look at the current one, this is before it broke. You can see we came up, came down to the trend line, up again, down to the trend line, came down, didn't come to the trend line, and then we went up, we broke that trend line, and then we did go higher. So it was a very similar pattern there. And even this one also on March 26th. So this one was April 26, this one was March 26. pretty much the same pattern, up to the top, down to the trend line, on the bottom, up to the top, down to the trend line, and then we came up, we broke this trend line, and we had that pump. So I am noticing these patterns a lot. I didn't used to look at wedges much, but they're a very important pattern, especially on these drops, to know when to get into a trade. You can go on the breakout or wait for it to retest it and then get into a trade. Let's just have a look at the 1 hour. I'm just looking at the RSI here. Once we get above this dotted line, we are a little bit oversold, but this is only on the 1 hour. And we also might get a divergence here. You can see if we do make higher highs on the RSI and lower highs on the price, we might have a bearish divergence. But on the 1 hour, I don't think it would be a massive pullback. On the 2 hour chart, we're still below it. There's no divergence here yet. The stochastic is quite high. And the 4 hour, there's no divergences here. We do have plenty of room to go up, as I said. And of course on the weekly, which is a bit messy, the weekly stochastic is all the way down the bottom as well. So if we do really take off and go to all new all-time highs, we've got plenty of weeks to go up here. RSI has been cooling off now since January with all this sideways movement, so there is plenty of room to go up now. We can clean up this chart a little bit. What's my Twitter handle? I'll just pull it up. So it's just here, Truth Seeker, with these numbers. I'll put it into the chat. Yeah, so I did post those charts here. Where was it? Yeah, so I did post this. It was a while ago, 13 hours ago, saying that we have broken this line. And this was the current one, and just comparing it to the previous one. So that was 13 hours ago. And then obviously we started taking off and went higher. So you can see we are still going, 57,900 now. And this trade is 43% up. This is probably one of my biggest trades with dollar amounts here. Obviously started small and been building my way up. I was doing $1,000 trades for quite a while, and now I'm trying to step it up to higher trades. Let's see what we can see on some other charts. So I'm also using a market cipher here. This is CryptoFace's indicator, and this is quite useful. He's just added this number system as well, where a larger number on the bottom can indicate that we're going to go up, and obviously the number on the top, compare it to the number on the bottom. You can see these are all quite large numbers. I think it goes up to 28, and it's just another indicator that you can use. I think he made it from 30 other indicators combined together to give a number range. But I do quite like this indicator. This only came out in the last couple of days. If we go to the 4 hour chart, what we look for are these drops and these green dots here to indicate bottoms in the market. And we can see we got a green dot here. When was that? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, about 12 hours ago. And you can see that we have started taking off. and it's quite reliable, those green dots on the 4 hour. And we also got it on the 6 hour here. These green waves and the red waves are the money flow, so when money's coming into Bitcoin and money's going out in the red, and we look for the momentum to start turning around. So if we watch it here, oops, not the best throw, and then we'd expect the green to come up again. So it's a good way to know we've got plenty of time. Once this goes into the green, we can know how many days we can sort of hold this trade before we think it might start coming down. This is called Market Cipher, this indicator. It is a paid indicator, so it's not something that you can pick up for free on TradingView. If you go to CryptoFace YouTube channel, he's got links to his Market Cipher page where you can buy the indicator. And yeah, it's just these ones, Market Cipher. It's all in one package, all of these ones. So it's just good to go through the time frames and then build up a narrative as to what's going to happen. So the 12 hour did get this green dot here, and this was a really good entry, 48,000. And we don't get these green dots that often. We get these smaller ones here, but when they get a deep cut with this blue wave, these green dots are really important. We can see we got one here. This was back in January at 30,000 low. And you can see we pretty much never came back to that price, and we haven't had one for a while. Before that, the last one was in September, and that was at 10,000. You can see we didn't come back to there for a long time. This one was obviously when the stock market crashed. This one didn't work out, but this was more of a black swan event, so hard to predict that. And have a look at the daily. So the daily does have this red dot here. So we did get this green dot, and again, they don't come up very often on the daily. So we could come down a little bit still, but I think this will probably turn. We can get these red dots followed by green dots. So if we do keep going up, I think we will get a green dot here and carry higher. And same thing goes for these red dots on the top. You can see it can be a good place to take profits, and it can indicate tops. You can see there's no red dots here yet on the 1 hour, which you would look on the smaller time frames first and then go to the higher ones. You can see the 2 hours only just starting to go up. The 4 hour is quite reliable. What else can we look at? Let's just have a look at the futures chart here. I just had these trend lines drawn here, just connecting the lows here from back in January and December. And we did dip below this trend line, and initially I was trying to get into a trade here on this drop, and I wasn't really paying attention to this trend line, and it ended up acting as support. So then when we did go up and start coming down, I thought this trend line might hold also, and it looks like it did. And we can see this gap here still in the futures market, and the top of that gap is around 60,245. So we might come up and then get a pullback somewhere up here, but at the moment I think we are going to carry on higher here. You can see we tried to close the gap with this previous wick, got to 59.2, but we didn't close it. And they don't have to be closed, these gaps, but quite often we do fill these gaps. And there are more gaps down here. There's a big gap here that we never filled. there was a gap here, and we did eventually come down and fill it. And also had this drawn on the RSI, this triangle pattern, and we'll be looking to see if we can break this trend line when we do get higher. And I've just got the same trend line drawn on this one also. You can see that it did act as support here, similar to the futures chart. And we have been getting these consecutive lower highs on the RSI and the higher highs on the price. This is bearish divergence. My mouse is frozen. Sorry guys, my mouse is just frozen for some reason. It hasn't happened before. Just try to fix it. Just give me a second. And it seems to be back working now. Just changed the battery on it. So we were just saying that we were getting this bearish divergence with these highs, and it was on all four of these highs, and you can see we had that decent drop, and now we are starting to come back higher with plenty of room to go up. So we would hope we don't get divergence between this point and the next point. Let's just see what else we've got here. So this is the EMA ribbon. It's a bit loud. Yeah, the funding rates are very low at the moment. I think a lot of people got shaken out on this drop, and they've been a bit less motivated to do high leverage longs. So it did shake out quite a lot of people. And I think it will take a bit for them to come in. We can see it's at 0.01 on Bybit. So very low. And we could see when we were at those high levels, as soon as we did go up, this funding rate was jumping to like 0.1, 0.15 even, and it would jump up straight away, and everyone was just jumping on the longs. So it's good to see that come down. And yeah, I think there might be the short squeeze happening here. I think people might have been shorting this area. We did get this decent pump. Be interesting to see if people are still going to try and short it. And Bora Y says hello from Netherlands. Hello, welcome. Wonder what time it is in the Netherlands. It's about 1:50 a.m. here. This is in Adelaide, Australia. So this is the EMA ribbon. This is on the 4-hour chart. You can see when we're dropping, it acts as resistance. When we're trending up, acts as support. And we did start going up here. We played around with it for a bit, got support here, dropped through it again, and now we're going back up. If we go sideways for too long here, this ribbon becomes less significant. It's more useful in trends, but it's good that we are above the ribbon now. We'd like to see it stay up here, even going sideways, and see this ribbon come up to meet it, and then use it as support. And it can be a good way to long in the market. If we look back here, every time we had a dip, you could get into a long on the top of this ribbon and buy down into it. You can see we bounce off it quite a lot with the bodies of the candles pretty much above the ribbon. Can also be done when shorting as well. And let's just pull up the daily EMA ribbon as well. You can see it's similar to the 4-hour here. We didn't drop below the daily ribbon for a very long time, since September last year. See, it's been acting as support all the way up, and when we did break it, we had this big drop. We've been battling it here. We are currently above it. The top of that ribbon's at 56,000. So we'd like to see the daily candle close above this ribbon, and also above the previous day candle, which the top is at 57,240. And then this would be a bullish engulfing candle, which can indicate that the following candles will most likely go higher. Just try to see an example here. I did talk about it in a previous video not that long ago. I was talking about it on the weekly chart, which is the weekly chart. I think I was talking about it during the pullbacks in the 2017 bull run. This is 2017 bull run. You can see we had this big drop. These were 30% corrections, and the following weekly candle was bigger than the previous one, and it led to the rise up. You can see it again here, bullish engulfing candle, and then that led us up to the all-time high. Actually, this one's bearish engulfing, and then it led to this drop. Yeah, that music is a bit loud. That track was a lot louder than the other ones, I think. That should be a bit better. Just reading the comments. Still a bit loud. So Bora was saying, I was thinking of adding to my position if we manage to break and retest 58,990. Do you think it's good? I can't give you financial advice, but if you're already in a position that's good and you want to add more, just manage the risk. Don't add a massive amount so it moves your average buy-in way too high, and then if we have a drop, all of a sudden you're in a loss. Just like, I would just add a small bit, but I tend to add on pullbacks. I'll wait for a pullback. I'll look for that golden pocket retracement. See if I can get an example. Yeah, so we did go up quite a lot here, and I waited for a decent pullback before I got into the trade. I didn't jump in. And if I already had a position and we're up here, I wouldn't add when it's still going up. I'd wait for a pullback to add, and then you just manage your average buy-in so it's not too high, you're not moving it up too much. And it's just really about managing risk. And what else can we look at? So this is the weekly chart. A lot of people thought we were going to come back to this 21-week exponential moving average, and I thought it's a possibility, but whoops, I just thought this pullback was quite big, and the thing that made me think we're not going to come down to this average, and this was the bottom, was mainly the daily RSI. Just pull that up. Yeah, so the daily RSI on this drop got all the way down to a 30 level, and if we look back in the past, you can see that we haven't come down to that level for a long time. This was a 33 level back in September, way back when we were at 10,000, and the next time we were below this dotted line, which is the 30 level, was in the stock market crash. So I thought that's a very decent pullback. I think that's going to be a bounce point. Oops. And that's what led me to think after this bounce we're probably going to have a pullback and make a W shape with higher lows. And initially on this pullback I was waiting to get into a trade a bit lower down. It didn't drop that much, and then we did go higher, and then I managed to get it on this pullback here. So maybe we'll go on the 30-minute chart. So you can see the RSI on the 30-minute chart is quite high at the moment. So I do like to start with the smaller time frames and start looking for divergences in this upper areas for possible pullbacks. And you can see one here. When we were going up, we had lower highs on the RSI and higher highs on the price, and it did indicate that we were going to have this pullback. And then you would look on the higher time frames to see if there's divergence there also. I can see that was about the same, but the half an hour time frame did get it. So there's no divergence yet, but we are getting up to this overbought range. That's on the 1 hour chart. I'll turn the music right down. People saying it might be a bit annoying. That should be okay. Yeah, so the 1 hour RSI is quite high, and the 2 hour isn't that high. Let's go maybe to 15 minute one. You can see that one's quite high. There's no divergence yet. But again, once we get oversold, say on the 15-minute chart, the pullback doesn't have to be a massive pullback for it to come back down. As we can see, like on the 5-minute chart, we got into the oversold area, and the pullback wasn't that big. It was just a small correction here. the main chart I'll be watching is the 4-hour chart, and just watching this stochastic RSI. Once it gets up here, we might get a small correction, but they follow on to the other ones. So the 4-hour is starting to get closer to the top, the 6-hour is moving with it but further down. So once the 4-hour gets at the top, it'll probably stay at the top for a bit because the 6-hour will still be coming up, and then the 12-hour will also be following the 6-hour. Hopefully this will come up a bit more, and when they're following on from each other like that, it's good to hold it along. Let's just have a look at the volume. So we got okay volume, not too massive. Can see still no red dot on the 1 hour. See the 45 minute, still good. The 30 minute has a red dot, but nothing to worry about at the moment. This indicator also has these red diamonds on the chart. They're known as blood diamonds, and it can indicate that a big drop's about to happen. It's not always exactly gonna get it, but we can see we got one here, we got a big drop, and got one here before this big drop. So it is quite useful, this indicator. And these are the Heikin-Ashi candles. It's not the regular candles. You can use this indicator on both, but CryptoFace does use it on the Heikin-Ashi ones, so I have been using it on that. And these candles basically, when they open at the average price of the previous candle, and it's a bit easier to see as well when the market's trending. Just been asked about a few other coins. Most of those I haven't really been looking at. I do mainly look at Bitcoin. I did have a little bit of a look at XRP, but not really much analysis on it. I was looking at it when I was looking at the Pi Cycle indicator that I modified. I can pull it up. Can find it. Yeah, so this is the Pi Cycle top indicator. If you've seen those videos I made, I just made modifications to it, because the previous one, it would trigger a top, but it was within 3 days of the top, so it wasn't completely accurate. So I did modify the settings so it does get the top exactly. You can see that on the 2017 bull run there, and then during the 2013 bull run, you can see it got the top exactly here. This is 2 different settings, and they both get the tops exactly. And that one also got the top. There's a wick there, and I found 7 solutions to it that get the 3 tops exactly. And these ones are just the upper and lower bands, and all the other solutions lie in between it. So the 2 yellow lines are one solution, the 2 red lines are another solution. And we can see they're not close to crossing yet. On the original indicator they already crossed. You can see we dipped down into it, and now they're just running parallel at the moment. Don't worry about this red candle. This is on the Brave New Coin index for Bitcoin, which is it gets the prices from all the exchanges, but it's 1 day behind. And just interesting to note on this drop, we did pull back to the bottom of these moving averages here. And if we look back in the previous bull run, what we'll notice is once we went above these averages on this drop down, we came down, whoops, we broke it, and we also came down to the bottom of these moving averages. So very similar thing. And on this second one, we also did it on the pullback, and then we got support on the top ones. And if we just compare that to currently, you can see as we got above it, we pulled back to these ones, and then well, we did get support on this one because we're back up around this area. So very similar thing. But you asked about XRP. So I was using that Pi Cycle top indicator on XRP. Which one has a lot of, maybe this chart, because those same settings did get the top for XRP also, so that was quite useful. Actually, maybe it was the other one of the other solutions. I think it might have been. I'll just pull up the other one. All of these solutions get the Bitcoin tops exactly. Which one was it? And perhaps it was one of the other two. I'll just try to pull that up. Whoops. No, it wasn't that one. I'll have to find which one it was. I don't have it open at the moment. Let's just use this one for now. There were two other solutions, and it did get the XRP tops also. You can see that one did hit it. But anyway, the point was, where are we currently on the XRP? And we can see these lines, they're still pretty far apart. What's XRP doing? Try to do some analysis on it. So we'd start with the fib. On the weekly chart. So XRP is quite bullish at the moment. But I have tried to trade XRP and I wasn't very successful at it. It can just have these massive pullbacks like this. I probably need to look at a RSI. So we did get quite high on the weekly on the RSI. The RSI down here. The stochastic RSI is quite high as well. So we might get a pullback. You can see when we were this high previously, we did have this massive drop, but that was also based on the other news that was going on. So if we were to get a drop, I would probably look for it, this golden pocket area, which is at about 70 cents. It's also sort of the area we were getting resistance on these previous areas here. Just a question from Bora. I usually use 10x leverage. When we were going more sideways before the bull market started, I was doing maybe 20x leverage sometimes. But since we had such big volatile moves, I find 10x leverage works okay. With the Bitcoin being at, say, 50, 60,000, it gives you a $6,000 to your liquidation price. So even 5 times leverage, but yeah, I find 10 times leverage best. And obviously don't let it get liquidated. Put in stop loss. But if you find the trade's too stressful, then the leverage is probably too high. XRP is still looking not too bad on the daily. The daily's a little bit high. I'd probably just watch this trend line to see if it holds. See, it's acted as support several times. I think we're forming this lower highs and haven't made a higher low yet, but we might bounce off this trend line. The daily is quite high though. So if we did break above this trend line, then I'd expect us to go to new highs. Yeah, let's see what Bitcoin's doing. I haven't really looked at XRP chart for a while. We're still at 57.5. So this chart is quite different to the Coinbase one with that golden cross. It's showing that it hasn't crossed yet. And I'm using the right ones. There, that's the EMAs. So that crossing was the moving average and the exponential moving average, which we need to use the same ones. So perhaps we could move this fib. So if we were to have a pullback, perhaps we would come to this 38.2 level and bounce off that. That was previous resistance. What else can we look at? We can see XRP is up 12%, Ethereum 6%, and the whole crypto market cap is up 8% today. We can see Dogecoin is up to number 4 in market cap. We did see Chainlink. It's up 7%. It's been doing quite well in the last 2 days, as Litecoin as well has been doing pretty good. So definitely alt season. And these were those two falling wedges that I was comparing with those pictures. This one was obviously on a smaller time frame than this one, but you can see that pretty much did the same pattern, and I am seeing those patterns a lot. You can see another similar one here. Always when we have these big drops, and you can see the last bit didn't come down to the trend line, and then we go up. So quite a useful pattern to know when to get into a long. Perhaps if we do the fib retracement from all the way at the top. So we are at a pretty important level really. We're at the 618 level, the golden pocket. So we might get a little bit of resistance here. You can see the last 2 times we came up to it, we got rejected. Got rejected the second time. So I would like to see Bitcoin get above this level. Just looking at the previous pullbacks, this one went to the 786 level. The 618 didn't act as much resistance. Whoops. And we can see on this bounce after the pullback, that golden pocket acted as resistance. Let's move this on. So the first test of it acted as resistance and it came down. This one came back to the 236 level. This one came sort of in between 382 and the 236. And then it came back up, and on the next test we did break through it straight away. So we might see a similar thing. We might break through it straight away and then come up to this 786 level, which would be at 61,000. And then hopefully we see these new highs above 64, 65,000. we might just get a small pullback here. See this the 15 minute looks like it wants to cool off a little bit on the stochastic. The 30 minute hasn't started to come down yet though. We could just go sideways for a bit and then have a little dip and go higher. We'll just have a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Let's go to the weekly. So it is down to 47. Let's do regular candles. Can see it has been dropping a lot, and these altcoins have been pumping. I don't know how reliable using these indicators with the Bitcoin dominance is, but if we were to, we might be finding a bottom soon, get a small bounce perhaps, but we could probably still go a lot lower. You can see during the 2017 bull run we did get these small relief bounces and then more drops. We haven't really had that yet on this one. And yeah, that's quite brutal looking at it on the daily. These yellow X's are like those blood diamonds. They can indicate a big drop's coming. We can just see how many we've gotten here in a row. You can just see the money flowing out, going into alts. But yeah, I don't know how much analysing this chart works as well as an individual asset. So we are about to make a new hourly candle in about 3 minutes. So I might just take a quick 5-minute break, and I will come back in a couple of minutes.
Should be done.
So we have got this new hourly candle now. It looks like we might have a small pullback. And we can see the 15-minute stochastic RSI starting to come down. So probably see it on the 5-minute first. See the 5-minute already cooled off. And we'll look for the 15-minute to cool off next. And then move to the 30-minute. I do think the hourly's still got a bit more room to go. I think it would probably have one more move up here. Might have a small dip down and then one more move higher above this 70 line. You can see we do go above it quite often here before we have a correction. And would look for divergences. So if we came down here and the price was lower and the RSI was higher, then we might get a bigger pullback, perhaps to the 38.2 level, which is at 56,000. We go on to Market Cipher. We got that red dot on the 30-minute. We just look at the new hourly candle. So we don't have a red dot yet on the hourly. But I wouldn't think about really taking profits until we get maybe a red dot on the 4-hourly. And we can see there's plenty of room. It hasn't crossed the 0 line yet. I did miss one question back here. Where was it? Felix said option on stop losses. Do you use it for these swings? I do use stop losses, but at the moment I can't see it having a big pullback yet. I trust the indicators, and mainly at the moment with the RSI on the 4-hour, or the stochastic RSI, you can see it hasn't even reached this top level yet. So we're good for at least till the next 4-hourly candle, which is another 3 hours. We might have small dips, which is the hourly correcting, and might zigzag a bit. But this 4 hours got plenty of room, and also the 6-hour has plenty of room. It's just started going up. You can see here. So this one's probably good for until the daily close at least, where we might be a bit higher. So I'm not expecting a big pullback at the moment. So I'm not really worried about the stop loss or taking profits. I did take small profits, like 10% off the table at the point where I thought it might turn around. That was at 56,650, which was down here, but we did get above that. And what I like to do is I would draw the fib like I have now, and then I would layer the sell orders. I would sell it bit by bit, so I might put one below the 38.2 level and sell some there in case it dropped down, then one maybe at the 0.5, and then when the price does go higher, if your buy-in is below this golden pocket area, say my buy-in was down here, I would probably put my stop loss below this golden pocket area. But at the moment my buy-in is around the 0.5 level, so I'm waiting for it to go higher to move that stop loss up. But yeah, I think we will probably get this golden cross on the next few 4-hourly candles. We could see on that Coinbase chart that it was pretty much ready to cross. If you can just pull it up. Actually, if we get rid of the candles, so you can see there it hasn't actually crossed yet. But looking at that 6-hour RSI, we said it'll probably keep going up at least till the end of the day. So that would put us somewhere here, and by then the golden cross might have happened. I would normally like to use this ribbon as well to know when to get out of trades. I'd look at the 4-hour chart. This ribbon's not as useful at the moment because it has squeezed together too much. It's better when it's trending. So for this example, say you got into a trade down here, you could sell it when it broke this ribbon. And obviously something like this, if you sold it once it broke the ribbon, it would have been a good way to get out of the trade before this drop. But yeah, I think we should be good for until the daily closes. And then perhaps let's look at the daily chart. So that's the only thing that's worrying, is that the daily stochastic is quite high, but the RSI has got plenty of room to go up. And again, I'll be watching the daily close to see if we do close above this previous red candle at 57.2. And if it does, I'd be confident that we keep going up. Anything else? Actually, the 2-week chart was quite interesting to look at. We can see we really need to break above the tops of these candles. You can see it acted as resistance for 4 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row there. And the top of that is around 59,950, so probably around above 60,000. I think once we break that level, we're going to have quite a big move and quite a big run. And especially with that weekly stochastic RSI being very low, once it does start peeking its head above the 30 reading, we've got lots of room to go. And just to show that, in this occasion here, we cooled off all the way down, and we can see that was at around 10,500, and we can see how much we went up as this went up over several weeks. It led to this massive run. Now that we have cooled off again, I think a similar thing's going to happen. We're going to have some pretty massive moves. You can see it doesn't happen that often. The time before that was after the stock market crash, and that led to this run up. And with the RSI cooling off now, there's room for it to go back up again. And I was watching this trend line here drawn on the RSI. Thought maybe we might come down to it, but at the moment doesn't look like we will. During that 2017 bull run, this is what acted as support all the way through the bull run. We did pull back to it several times, and you can see here it did act as support. So it is still a possibility, I won't rule it out, but things are pretty bullish, and if we do break new all-time highs, I don't think we're coming back to this line. So I think that's about all I wanted to say. Just wanted to do the live stream because we were moving quite quickly with the price, and I think we're good till tomorrow with it going up. We'll have to look at how the daily closes. I hope you're in some good trades as well. So I'll probably end the stream there. Thanks for watching. I'll try to get some more videos out soon, and hopefully another live stream soon. So catch you next time. Thanks for watching. I'm Bitcoin Mamo.